So this was the best way I could find to start this lesson, talking about the phenomena of overtones, undertones, polyphony, harmonic series. There are many names to talk about those notes that are contained within each and every sound. In fact, not only in the sound realm, it's a universal law. We can see when a drop touches a surface, generates an effect. In our case, the surface is the air, and this manifestation occurs in nature, 3D in general, as well as the Fibonacci sequence also generates a pattern, the spirals, and the exponential, developing structures that preserve energy. So these are laws, intelligent laws that govern the physical universe and the sound universe. So the harmonics are sounds within sounds. These are layers and these matrix of all we hear. Our voices, for example, is composed of various layers, vibratory bands, the lower ones, middle, the highs, and the union of all these various frequencies create one sound. Just like in the same way the white light contains all the colors, through our technique or through our prism, we can also generate this beauty, choosing the vibratory band we would like to sound. And it's beautiful because the harmonics are actually the color of the sound. And these beautiful combinations, they generate timbre or the sense of recognition of a voice, of an instrument. So these layers of timbres, like just like the painters, they would mix colors. So this is innate to each sound. Sound is not just a sound, it's a pile of many additions in our brain, computes, process, and transforms into one experience. Oh, so this is Guy's voice. This is a guitar. This is a piano. And there's something I really like to share, which is helpful to visualize what I'm talking about, which is a spectrogram. Basically, we can analyze the overtones. That's something we're going to do in our online groups, in our laboratorium, monthly, online. And everyone can join. Everyone can have their voice scanned live. And I'm going to send you the recording. It's going to be really nice. So here you can see my voice is the lower line. And just like the drop on the water, you can see the ripples of sound. Now I'm going to do the technique itself. And you can see that through the modulation of the cavities, I can choose which vibration I want, just like the painter. The human voice is the richest musical instrument in terms of overtones, due to our ability to make these micro adjustments, modulating, this capacity. So through this basic sound, this fundamental note, we can get many other notes. So I'm just gonna share here these 8 first notes that we get in the harmonic series or the overtone series. So first, the fundamental octave, 5th octave again, 3rd major, 5th, 7th minor, octave. So we could see these notes isolated, and they follow a progressive arithmetic formula. So they multiply themselves through the first fundamental. So let's say here we have 100 hertz, the next octave 200 hertz, fifth 300, 400 octave, 500 third, and so it goes. It's a very familiar shape for us. We just recognize it. So it's a simple formula, but all the intervals of music that we use, they are contained there. So the harmonic scale is the source of all the scales. We can see the perfect fifth, the fourth, the third, the seventh. Here we can see more notes. And remembering that we're talking about just intonation, equal temperament is something that we do to divide an octave exactly in 12 similar shapes. So just remembering there's this small difference. And this is basically the basis of the concept of harmony. We're talking about nature. So whether in music, in the proportions of architecture, and also in the spheres, there's this concept called the harmony of the spheres or orbital resonance, which comes from the Vedas, Pythagoras, also the Sufi Inayat Khan, Kepler, and different researchers. They were talking about this harmonic resonance within the bodies in the astral. So also in the solar system, the rhythm of the orbits of the moon, of some planets, like the dance of the moons of Jupiter. There are 3 moons that dance in a 4-2-1 rhythm. Also Neptune and Pluto, they orbit a similar time around the sun, actually from 3 to 2. So it's a very nice cadence. And I'll put all these references here on the PDF attached. And I'm going to share some traditional chants from different cultures around the world. And you can see that for them it's truly ceremonial. Those sounds, they are the ancestral voices. They can access their practices of shamanism, through the sounds of nature, sounds of the animals, invoking motivation, invoking force, invoking inspiration to continue, force against the cold, for example. So we're going to listen first to some communities around Mongolia, which is Tuva and other regions that before the big empire invaded some regions. So it's hard to tell exactly what is what. But you can see that different teachers and different singers, they're going to sing different styles. So even in the same culture, you're going to find different modalities of throat singing. So you're going to see that these cultures, they use a lot of the compression of the throat, which is a little bit different than the techniques we're going to learn. These ones, they require a follow-up because we consciously need to hurt a little bit of the vocal cords for us to be able to learn, where to relax, where to activate. So it's something to go slowly. You can hurt yourself. So for you to remember to activate the right parts, I highly recommend you to come for the laboratorium so we can explore the first steps together. So here we're going to see different cultures around the world that have the polyphonic singing, the throat singing, as part of their culture, the shamanic practices. beautiful, really powerful. I've shown cultures from the region of Mongolia, different techniques, Khumi, Harhira, Sigit, and also in South Africa. You can also find in Canada, Italy. You can definitely Google about it all. You know, in Tibet, you have the sacred mantras with the invocation of the throat singing. So it's really vast culture all over the world. So it's innate to humanity. It's somehow it's the source of language. You know, and you can see that these techniques that they were using, they bring a lot of compression to the throat, to the vocal cords. So these are different techniques from the ones we're going to learn in the course. We're going to use the techniques called the 1 cavity and 2 cavities. They're called the Western or the modern techniques by the ancient people. And basically they're following the same principle. They follow the same modulation fundamentals. So if you want to give the first steps on those chants as well, come to the lab, to the study group. We're going to have monthly online where we can take care of these steps, because it's part of the journey that you're going to hurt yourself a little bit, because the vocal cords, they get really stressed until we find a place of relaxation, the right place of pressure. So again, inviting us to come. And now we're going to go through the practices.